Linda looked down at me with pure disdain. "Oh, Sarah," she scoffed, "everything we've done for you. Gregory gave up his bachelor life for you. He settled down and you can't even support his dreams. I pay for everything." I shouted, standing. "Up volume," Linda snapped, very unladylike Tuesday. Greg said, standing up and towering over me. "The lawyer's office noon, bring the check. Or transfer the funds, I don't care how you do it. And if I don't?" Greg smiled, it didn't reach his eyes. "Then maybe we need to reevaluate this marriage. And since I haven't worked in 3 years, imagine the alimony. Sarah, imagine the legal fees, I'll bleed you dry." He kissed my forehead. "Be a good wife, Tuesday." Noon, he walked out. Linda followed him. Shooting me a smug grin, I stood in the kitchen. Shaking I needed to get out, I grabbed my phone destination. Anywhere requesting Uber driver matched. "Arthur, when I got into Arthur's car that Saturday, I didn't have a sandwich, I was empty-handed. Collapsed into the back seat and just started crying. I didn't make a sound. I just let the tears fall. Arthur didn't say a word. He didn't turn on the radio. He just drove. He took me to a park by the water. He parked the car and turned off the engine. You don't have to talk. He said softly, but if you hold it in, it turns to poison." I looked at him. He was wearing a thick wool sweater. He looked like the grandfather I never had. "He wants everything." I whispered, "He wants my savings. He wants me to liquidate my retirement. He threatened to divorce me and take alimony if I don't." Arthur's hands tightened on the wheel. "Greg." "Yes? And the mother?" "She's worse." Arthur looked out the window. His jaw was set tight. "Sarah," he said carefully, "I've been driving a long time. I see a lot of people. I hear a lot of phone calls." "What do you mean?" "Last week," Arthur said, "I dropped you off at that restaurant, the Italian place. Yeah, for Greg's birthday. I didn't leave right away." Arthur admitted, "I was checking my tire pressure." He paused. A car pulled up, a red convertible. A man got out. "He looked exactly like the picture you showed me of Greg. That's his car." I said, "He wasn't alone, Sarah." My stomach dropped. "Who was he with?" "A woman, young blonde, very expensive looking." I felt sick. I knew it deep down. I knew it, but that's not the part that worried me. Arthur continued. He turned to face me. His eyes were serious, intense. He kissed her, and then he said something. The window was down. What did he say? Arthur hesitated. He said, "Just one more week. Maybe Tuesday is the payday. Then we flush the old life down the toilet. The air left my lungs Tuesday, the signing. He's going to take the money." I whispered, "He's going to take the 10,000 and he's going to leave." Arthur shook his head. 10,000? Sarah, people don't kill marriages for $10,000, not when they have a cash cow like you. What are you saying? "I'm saying," Arthur said darkly, "that flush is a very specific word and payday usually means something bigger than a savings account." He reached into his glove box and pulled out a business card. It wasn't an Uber card. It was plain white, no logo, just a name and a number. Arthur P. Henderson, Private Security and Investigations, retired. I stared at the card, then I stared at him. "You're a pie?" "Was," Arthur corrected. "For 30 years now. I drive it, keeps me busy." He handed me the card. "But I never stopped watching, and Sarah, I've been watching your house." "You what?" "Not like a creeper," he added quickly. "I drop you off, I pick you up. I see things, I see who comes and goes." He leaned closer. "That lawyer Greg wants you to meet on Tuesday. Have you ever met him?" "No," I said. "Greg set it all up." He said it's his friend from college. "What's the address?" I pulled up the calendar invite on my phone. 1402 Oak Street, Suite 400. Arthur's face went pale. "Sarah," he said, 1402 Oak Street isn't a law firm. What is it?" "It's an abandoned warehouse district. It's slated for demolition next month." The silence in the car was deafening. Maybe he got the address wrong. I stammered. I was trying to find a lifeline. Any logic that didn't involve my husband trying to hurt me, or Arthur said he doesn't want you to be found. Sunday and Monday were a blur of terror every time Greg looked at me. I felt like I was looking at a shark. He was extra nice. He made me pancakes on Sunday. He massaged my shoulders on Monday night. "You're so tense." "Honey," he whispered in my ear, "just relax. Tomorrow is going to change everything we're going to be." So free. The word sounded like a threat. I texted Arthur constantly. "Me. He's asking about my life insurance policy. He says he wants to update the beneficiaries. ARTHUR. Do not sign anything. Do not give him access ME. He's packing a bag, he says. It's for a celebration trip for us after the signing ARTHUR. Checked the bag when he's in the shower. I waited until I heard the water running. I crept into the bedroom. The suitcase was open on the bed. I dug through it, clothes, toiletries, and a folder. I opened the folder. It was a travel itinerary, 2 tickets. To the Cayman Islands, one way, leaving Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Names on the tickets: Mr. Gregory Miller, Ms. Jessica Vane. Jessica, the blonde, but that wasn't the worst part. Under the tickets was a document, a life insurance claim form already filled out, date of death: Tuesday, October 24th, cause of death, accidental beneficiary, Gregory Miller. I clamped a hand over my mouth to stop the scream. Today was Monday, October 23 RD. He wasn't just leaving me, he was going to kill me, honey. Greg's voice came from the bathroom. The water had stopped. I shoved the papers back. I closed the suitcase. I ran out of the room, my heart pounding so hard I thought it would explode. I sat on the couch, grabbing a magazine, pretending to read. Greg walked out, a towel around his waist. He was smiling. Did you pack your bag? He asked. Not yet, I said. My voice was surprisingly steady. I'll do it in the morning. Good. He grinned. Make sure you pack something black for a nice dinner, something black like a funeral dress. I texted Arthur, one word, ME, help, which brings us back to the car. Tuesday morning. Greg had left early. He said he had to prep the paperwork with the lawyer. He told me to take an Uber to the address at noon. Don't be late, he had said, kissing me on the cheek. I love you, Sarah. I had walked out of the house at 11:30 a.m. Arthur was waiting. I got in. I handed him the sandwich. I was shaking. Did you call the police? I asked immediately. Arthur started the car. I tried. They said without concrete proof of a threat, just a typed form that isn't signed, they can't do anything. They said it's a civil matter until a crime is committed. A civil matter? I shrieked. He's going to murder me. I know, Arthur said grimly. That's why we're here. We drove in silence for 20 minutes. I watched the city pass by. I looked at the people walking on the sidewalks, drinking coffee, laughing. They had no idea that I was on my way to my execution. Then Arthur pulled onto the shoulder. He locked the doors. He canceled the ride. He played the recording. Listen, Arthur commanded. The little black recorder crackled. Greg's voice. Yeah, she's coming at noon. No. The warehouse is perfect. No cameras, soundproof. Unknown male voice. And the body? Gregory. There's a chemical drum in the back. Hydrofluoric acid, industrial strength. By the time anyone realizes she's missing, she be sludge. We pour it into the drain. Gone. Unknown male. You're a cold bastard, Greg. Greg. Laughing. I'm a rich bastard. The insurance pays out double for accidental death if the body isn't found for 7 years. But I can access the trust immediately if she's declared missing. Plus, I already transferred her cash accounts this morning. I have her passwords. The recording clicked off. He couldn't breathe. Hydrofluoric acid sludge. This man, I slept next to this man I bought socks for. He wasn't just going to kill me. He was going to erase me. I recorded that this morning. Arthur said, I followed him to the warehouse. I used a long-range parabolic microphone, old pie gear. He looked at me. Sarah, if you go there, you die. So what do we do? I sobbed. If I go home, he comes for me. If I run, he finds me. He has my money. He has everything. Arthur's face hardened. He reached into the back seat, into a gym bag I hadn't noticed. He pulled out a thick envelope. He doesn't have everything, Arthur said. What is that? Yesterday, when you told me he had your passwords. Arthur said, I have a friend, a guy I used to work with in cyber crimes. I asked him to do a little intervention. Arthur opened the envelope. It was a bank statement, my bank statement balance. $0, I screamed. He took it. He already took it. Read the next line, Arthur said calmly. I looked down. Transfer to Arthur P. Henderson escrow account. I looked up at him. You took my money? I moved it. Arthur corrected. Before Greg could log in this morning, I moved every cent. Your savings, your checking, your retirement. It's all in a secure holding account that only you can access with your fingerprint. He handed me a tablet scan. Your thumb, ID, DCCSS granted balance, $84,200,000. I burst into tears. Relief washed over me so hard I felt dizzy. He's broke. Arthur said, a savage grin appearing on his face. Greg is waiting in that warehouse for a payday that isn't coming, and he probably borrowed money from some bad people to set this up. So we just leave? I asked. No. Arthur said he unlocked the car doors. We don't just leave, we finish this. He reached into his glove box and pulled out a pistol. A Glock, Arthur. I have a carry permit, he said, and I called my old buddies at the precinct this recording. He tapped the little black device. This is conspiracy to commit murder. This is admissible. The police are coming. They're meeting us there, Arthur said, but we have to bait the trap. Greg needs to think you're coming. He needs to admit it to your face while the cops are listening. He looked at me. Can you do this, Sarah? Can you look him in the eye one last time? I thought about the acid eye, thought about the white rug eye, thought about the years of insults. I wiped my tears. I fixed my hair. Let's go get the bastard, I said. Arthur smiled. He put the car in drive. That's my girl now. Eat your sandwich. You'll need the energy. The warehouse was a rotting skeleton of a building, broken windows, graffiti, weeds growing through the concrete. It looked like a horror movie, said Arthur. Park the Camry around the block. The police are in position, he whispered, tapping an earpiece he had put in. They have the perimeter surrounded. SWAT is at the back entrance. He handed me a small button, panic button. He said, if he touches you, press it. We breach. Where will you be? I'll be right behind you in the shadows. I got out of the car. The rain had stopped, but the air was cold. I walked toward the rusty metal door of Suite 400. My heels clicked on the pavement. Click, clack, click, clack. I pushed the door open. It was dark. Inside, the smell of dust and chemicals was overwhelming. Greg? I called out. Back here, honey. His voice echoed. It sounded cheerful, too cheerful. I walked deeper into the gloom. In the center of the vast, empty space, there was a single table, a chair, and a large blue plastic barrel. Greg was standing next to it. He was wearing a plastic apron over his suit. Sorry about the mess, he smiled, spreading his arms. The Lear is running a bit late, but we can get started. I stopped 10 feet away from him. What's in the barrel, Greg? I asked. He didn't blink. Cleaning supplies for the renovation. Renovation? I tilted my head. Or demolition? Greg's smile faltered for a second. What do you mean? I know this place is scheduled to be torn down, Greg. He took a step toward me. You've been doing your homework, Sarah. That's unlike you. I've had a lot of time to think. I said, about us, about the money. Right, the money. He held out a hand. Did you bring the check? No. The air in the room changed. The temperature seemed to drop 10 degrees. Sarah, Greg said, his voice low and dangerous. Give me the check. I don't have it. Greg, because the money isn't in my account anymore. Greg froze. He pulled out his phone. He frantically tapped on the screen. I watched his face go from confusion to shock to pure, unadulterated rage. Where is it? He screamed. The sound bounced off the metal walls. Where is my money? It's my money, I said calmly, and it's somewhere you'll never touch it. Greg threw his phone on the ground. It shattered. He looked at the barrel. Then he looked at me. It doesn't matter. He snarled. He reached behind his back. He pulled out a knife, a hunting knife. I don't need the money to enjoy this. He said, I've been wanting to shut that mouth of yours for 3 years. He lunged at me. Didn't scream. I didn't really press the button in my pocket, and I watched Arthur step out from behind a concrete pillar. End of the ride. Greg, Arthur said. Greg spun around. Arthur raised his pistol. BNG. He didn't shoot Greg. He shot the knife right out of Greg's hand. Greg howled in pain, clutching his hand. Police. Get down. Get down. Suddenly, the warehouse was filled with light flashlights. Beams cut through the darkness. Men in tactical gear swarmed from the shadows on the ground. Now, Greg fell to his knees. He looked small, pathetic. He looked at me. Sarah! Sarah, tell them. It was a joke. It was a prank. I walked over to him. I looked down at the man who had promised to love me until death. It's a civil matter. Greg, I said coldly. Then I turned to Arthur. Can we go now? I'm starving. Arthur holstered his gun. He tipped his cap. I know a great place for a sandwich. The trial was short. The recording was damning. The chemical drum, which was indeed full of acid, was the nail in the coffin. Greg got 25 years for conspiracy to commit murder, attempted murder, and fraud his mother, Linda. It turns out she knew she was an accomplice. She got 10 years. Jessica, the mistress, she turned state's witness. She told the jury everything about how Greg planned to spend my money. I didn't go to the sentencing. I didn't need to see him again. I was Too busy. I sold the house, I sold the furniture, I sold the white rug, I took my $842,000, and I started my own marketing firm. But the first thing I did, the very first thing, was buy a car note for me for Arthur. I met him at the coffee shop where we used to meet. He was standing there, looking at his old Camry. It had 300,000 miles on it, ready for lunch. He asked, "In a minute." I said, "I have something for you." I handed him a set of keys. "What's this?" "Look behind you." Parked at the curb was a brand new black Mercedes S-Class, leather seats, massage function, top of the line. "Sarah," Arthur gasped. "I can't. This is too much." "You saved my life, Arthur," I said, hugging him. "Consider it a tip." He looked at the car, tears welled up in his eyes. "Does it have a good sound system?" he asked, wiping his eyes. "The best." "Good," he smiled, "because I have some new classical playlists." "Well then," I said, opening the back door of the Mercedes driver, "I'm ready to go." Arthur laughed, a full belly laugh. He put on his cap. He got into the driver's seat. "Where to, boss?" Anywhere, Arthur," I said, looking out at the bright, sunny day. "Just drive." And as we pulled away, leaving the shadows of my past behind, I realized something. Family isn't blood. Family isn't who you marry. Family is the person who locks the doors when you're trying to walk into a trap. Family is the person who likes your turkey sandwiches, and sometimes family is your Uber driver.